Chapter 101, Little Koi Prince. After returning to her room, Ning Xi abruptly recalled that she had forgotten something extremely important. She still hadn't found out how things had gone after releasing that video last night. It was all that Zhang Weie's fault. Ever since he returned to the country, he had been constantly throwing tantrums and causing trouble for her. Ning Xi opened her computer and quickly browsed for the information she was looking for. The video where Jia Qingqing had failed the scene 33 times was already a hot topic. The comments section was filled with scoldings, while Ning Xi's surprisingly good acting had gotten favorable comments. Following that, everyone was starting to suspect that the post that claimed that Ning Xi was sleeping around the set was false. Closely after, one after another, there were announcements revealing that Jia Qingqing had used the excuse of filming to act on her private grudge. She had maliciously slapped Ning Xi while filming a scene, she even slapped her assistant, and she would throw her weight around and trouble the crew members, etc. Up until the end, all the artists and production crew members who didn't like Jia Qingqing continued piling on the hate, exposing everything she had done behind the scenes, and completely destroyed the false image that Jia Qingqing's fans had of her. Makeup artist Amy, I hated Ning Xi at first, because Jia Qingqing kept trying to make trouble for Ning Xi and implicated us crew members while doing so. For example, for the sake of making Ning Xi wait, she would do things like finding faults in her makeup and continuously getting me to redo it would happen every day. Back then, I felt that I had been dragged in by Ning Xi, so I hated her for a long period of time. Actually, it wasn't her fault at all. I know someone's going to find trouble with me for saying this, but my conscience won't rest until I say this out. On that day when Zhang Weie's fans came to the set to make a ruckus, if Ning Xi hadn't used her arm to block a rock for me, I would have gotten a wound on my face. Errand boy Xiao Li, frank and outspoken? More like crazy jealous. Jia Qingqing is a malignant tumor on set, she acts arrogantly and throws her weight around. She's practically late every day and leaves early without saying anything. She even orders people around with her nose pointed in the air, completely not treating us workers as humans. In a single day, I have to run back and forth dozens of times just for her. Does she seriously think I'm one of her family's servants? As for Ning Xi, although she usually keeps to herself and seems a little distant, she always treats us workers politely. Every time we wrap up filming, she thanks everyone. Even when we were biased against her and didn't reply to her, she still continued to do so every time. Director's assistant, words are cheap, but I'd still like to say a fair word. It was only on the first day of filming that people sent things to Ning Xi. Normally, I don't see Ning Xi flirting around with any men. It's normal for a beautiful woman to have a few admirers. I didn't think that the news would get warped to such an extent. Cameraman, there's nothing to criticize about Ning Xi's professional skills. She has a good feel of the camera and gets into the right position by herself. Usually, she passes in a single take unless someone else makes a mistake. So I'm the most relaxed whenever I film her. As for Jia Qingqing, she's probably the worst nightmare of any cameraman. She overdid her plastic surgery and her nose is shaped weirdly. However, she kept blaming it on my poor skills. Am I supposed to film you alone in those shots? Director Guo Qishan, the talk online about Ning Xi getting in through the back door is utter nonsense. That is not only an insult towards Ning Xi, but an insult to our entire production crew. I was thinking of waiting until our movie starts screening to show Ning Xi's performance so that everyone can see the truth. However, since things have gotten to this point and are affecting the progress of our filming, I'm going to show some interesting highlights now. Everyone, see for yourselves. Video. Producer Wang Taehi, everyone has already spoken. Then let me say something as well. I see that many of you are saying that we suddenly got another 5 billion in funding because of Ning Xi's sponsor. For the sake of clearing all these up, I requested permission from our investor and am revealing his identity now at Little Koi Prince. Ning Xi had expected that many people in the crew were already on the last vestiges of patience towards Jia Qingqing. Once a single person spoke up, the rest would then pile on. She hadn't expected that they would praise her while criticizing Jia Qingqing. That was an unexpected reward. It felt good to have her hard work recognized after all. Wang Taihe's tweet made her rather curious. She quickly opened up the Weibo with the ID at Little Koi Prince to see who that investor was. Chapter 102, A Mistress Masquerading as a Rich Heiress. A second later, Ning Xi was rendered speechless. At Little Koi Prince was verified on Weibo as Golden Age Entertainment's acting CEO Liu Jingli. You're the boss of a big entertainment company. Why is your ID this corny? It's like you're still in middle school. She hadn't anticipated that the investor who had joined at the last moment was actually Liu Jingli. This was beyond her expectations, but still within reason. After all, this was Zhang Weiy's first big film after returning to the country. It was only natural that Golden Age would spend a lot of effort to support it. However, Golden Age really lived up to its reputation as the industry's richest company by dropping 50 million on a mere second male lead role. All the misunderstandings were resolved with Wang Taihe's Weibo post. While the stains on Ning Xi's reputation had been thoroughly wiped clean, Jia Qingqing was now saddled with the reputation of being an arrogant, despicable, and trashy actress. Unfortunately, even though more observant people had already realized that Jia Qingqing was the instigator behind Ning Xi's scandal, there was no conclusive evidence. Everything that had happened up to this point were within Ning Xi's predictions. However, she didn't expect an even more shocking development would come later. Late last night, Jia Qingqing's manager Han Ying had posted on Weibo. Han Ying directly exposed how Jia Qingqing had made use of her fans to slander Ning Xi. She even spilled the entire story of how Jia Qingqing had used a second account to disguise herself as one of Zhang Weiy's fans in order to rile them up and use them to attack Ning Xi. Han Ying also revealed something even more shocking. Jia Qingqing was actually a mistress masquerading as a rich heiress. The rich father she was rumored to have wasn't actually her father. In reality, he was her sugar daddy and he already had a wife and kids. Han Ying's Weibo post contained extremely damning chat records and scandalous revelations. No matter what Jia Qingqing tried to say, she still wouldn't be able to talk her way out of this. Currently, there was only one path left for Jia Qingqing: quietly going into retirement. As for a comeback, in the unpredictable and tumultuous entertainment industry, her chances of coming out of retirement were virtually zero. Pub Future ads. After Han Ying had violated the ethics of her profession by exposing the secrets of an entertainer under her management, her own career as a manager was basically over as well. What sort of conflict did she have with Jia Qingqing that pushed her to cause their mutual destruction? It was a mystery. After the matter blew up, Starlight Entertainment tried to delete the post and end the gossip, but unfortunately, they couldn't resolve the situation. Instead, the netizens became even angrier. In order to appease the enraged public, Starlight attempted to do damage control by releasing a statement saying that they would launch a thorough investigation regarding the role Jia Qingqing played in slandering Ning Xi. The company didn't touch on the matter of Jia Qingqing being a sugar baby, but they basically expressed that they would investigate further. They were clearly unwilling to let go of Jia Qingqing, whom they had spent so much money developing. Ning Xi didn't have any scenes to film today, so she had originally planned to spend the day relaxing at home. However, it couldn't be helped that the situation had blown up so much. Her plans for rest were cancelled. Right after finishing breakfast, she got a phone call and had to go down to the company. In the conference room, Ning Suoluo, Chong Li, and Jia Qingqing were all present. The head of public relations, Feng Haoang, was also in attendance. Jia Qingqing's head was lowered and she had large dark circles under her eyes. The moment she saw Ning Xi, she quickly stood up in a frenzy. Ning Xi, you bitch! Are you proud of yourself now? Just you wait, I'm not going to let you off. Ning Xi helplessly scratched her ear. Every time, it was more or less the same line. She had almost reached the point of becoming deaf. "Shut up! Don't you think you've stirred up enough trouble?" Feng Haoang scolded impatiently. As unwilling as she was, Jia Qingqing could only sit back down while feeling wronged. When her spineless sugar daddy had seen that their affair had been exposed, he had immediately cut off all contact. At this moment, her fate was entirely in the hands of Feng Haoang. "Sit!" Feng Haoang said to Ning Xi. His expression was full of hesitation, as if he was trying to make a decision. At this time, Chong Li, who was sitting nearby, spoke up. "Ning Xi, you should know of what happened last night, so I'm not going to explain it all again. This is how things are going to go down. In a moment, Qingqing will release a statement apologizing for slandering you. You will respond by saying that you were also in the wrong. Act a little more magnanimous and say that you have forgiven her." Chapter 103, Whose fault is it when a mad dog bites you? Following that, Ning Xueluo quickly persuaded, "Junior Ning, I know you don't feel comfortable about it, but you're still in the wrong for this matter. You can't let the grudge between the two of you affect the company. The only thing we can do now is to minimize the damage." Ning Xi looked calmly at Ning Xueluo, who appeared to be trying to protect the company, and said, "Senior, if I remember correctly, it was Jia Qingqing who was always against me, and she was the one who kept trying to slander me. I always kept Changji's teachings in mind and tried not to embarrass the company, putting the company before myself. I endured it and remained silent. Even when I was slandered, I didn't dare to trouble the company, and I was only able to clear my reputation when some kind-hearted netizens and colleagues stepped out for me. The only matter that the netizens and fans are protesting about now is regarding Jia Qingqing being kept as a mistress. Wasn't it clearly Jia Qingqing who acted for her own interests without thinking about the company? She even framed an artiste in the same company and ruined the company's image as a result. Don't tell me that senior means to say that if a mad dog falls into a ditch and dies while chasing you, then it's your fault." Pub Future adds. If she tweeted about forgiving Jia Qingqing, then the reputation she had spent so much effort to clean would take a turn for the dumps again. Forgiving someone like Jia Qingqing when the crowd was out for her blood, did she seriously take her for a fool? Ning Xueluo almost choked to death on Ning Xi's words. What kind-hearted netizens! She was clearly the one who had leaked that video. She had some nerve to be able to say that so calmly and innocently. Jia Qingqing, who had just settled down not too long ago, immediately got agitated again. "Ning Xi, who are you calling a mad dog? Say it clearly." "You." Seeing that Jia Qingqing was about to make a ruckus again, Feng Haoang interrupted her. "There's no need to post an apology anymore." "Really?" Jia Qingqing's expression immediately turned to joy, but Feng Haoang continued, "Qingqing, just write a letter explaining that you are going to retire." Pub Future ads. Pub Future ads. Jia Qingqing screamed, "Why? You're making me retire from the entertainment circle? Why must I be the one retiring? I'm not going to write that letter." Feng Haoang's expression showed impatience. "By letting you write it yourself, I'm already giving you some dignity. Don't throw this favor back in my face. What's wrong with being kept? In the entertainment industry, so many female stars have sponsors behind them, and so many of them are mistresses. Why do I have to retire?" Jia Qingqing couldn't accept it. "Only you were stupid enough to let it spread to the public. That had nothing to do with me, it was all because that bitch Han Ying betrayed me. Why don't you go and investigate her?" "How am I supposed to investigate her when she has already resigned? Han Ying was the most even-tempered manager in this whole company. Ask yourself, other than her, who else could bear with your temper? It's fine if you keep shouting at her and making a big fuss, but when her son had a high fever and she needed to go to the hospital, you refused to let her go. Eventually, by the time she rushed to the hospital at midnight, her son had to go into the ICU because he took a turn for the worse. He is still in critical condition right now. Feng Yahang listed her shortcomings one after another. It wasn't just Han Ying, but even he was sick of cleaning up after Jia Qingqing's reckless actions. After hearing this, Jia Qingqing still didn't feel like she had done anything wrong. Conversely, she said indifferently, it's not like he died in the end. There are doctors there for that kind of situation, what difference would it have made even if she had gone? Is it really worth pushing me into this hole? Even up to now, Jia Qingqing still didn't understand why the normally weak Han Ying would suddenly do something like this. She had divorced with her husband and her son was sickly. He needed a large amount of medical fees every month. Without this job, how was she going to pay for all that? She would never have guessed that someone like Liang Feixing would personally take action against such a small fry like her. Chapter 104, Who doesn't have skeletons in their closet? Feng Haoang pinched his brow, finally giving up on communicating with her. Trying to explain things to an idiot was absolutely the stupidest thing he could do. The company had invested a lot into Jia Qingqing, but there was no way to recover from the incident this time. No matter how massive the losses were, they could only give up on recovering them. Seeing that Feng Haoang was already decided, Jia Qingqing hurriedly pounced towards Ning Suoluo like she was grasping for life. Suoluo ji, you have to help me, let Chang Ji manage me. I guarantee that I'll be obedient. I promise that I'll post an apology. Hearing so, Chang Li's expression immediately turned to horror. Letting her manage Jia Qingqing? Ning Suoluo wouldn't do that, would she? Of course, Ning Suoluo couldn't possibly be as brain-dead as Jia Qingqing. With a troubled expression, she lamented, Qingqing, it's not that I don't want to help you, but you heard what Ning Xi said just now. She's not willing to help. This is also the company's decision, so I can't do anything. Once this matter had blown up, she knew that Jia Qingqing was done for. However, she had wanted to use her to drag Ning Xi down to the very end. It was a pity that Feng Haoang had already seen that apologies wouldn't do anything at this point and might even drag another actress down, so he had finally decided to give up on Jia Qingqing. She had thought that Jia Qingqing was a great weapon to use against Ning Xi. Who knew that she would be so stupid as to fall and even boost Ning Xi up along the way? How could she possibly waste any effort on someone like that? Ning Xi. You bitch! Just you wait, even if I die, I'm dragging you down with me. Jia Qingqing finally turned to despair. She tried to vent her anger on Ning Xi, but Feng Haoang called security and she was finally dragged out. Ning Xi didn't even want to waste any energy hating this kind of person. She only had some sympathy for her. She didn't even know she had been used as cannon fodder up till now. Feng Haoang looked towards Ning Xi and his expression warmed up. Ning Xi, just focus on doing well in your current movie. If the results are good, the company will focus more efforts on raising you. However, Suoluo's words made sense. Keep a low profile and don't cause any unneeded trouble. Pub future ads. From the initial outburst of slander on Ning Xi to the final clearing of her innocence, with the result of forcing Jia Qingqing into retirement, the sequence of events seemed like a perfectly executed PR plan. Although Feng Haoang suspected that there was someone behind the scenes, he couldn't find any cracks, so he could only assume that Ning Xi had great luck. Thank you, Director Feng, I will. Ning Xi had pleasant surprise and fear written all over her face. After leaving the meeting room, Ning Xi went to the restroom and Ning Suoluo hurriedly followed after. Ning Suoluo crossed her arms over her chest and looked at her mockingly. Ning Xi, by digging out other people's skeletons, aren't you afraid your own skeletons will be dug out of the closet by someone else someday? Ning Xi's eyes narrowed slightly, revealing a cold glint. She immediately turned around and said indifferently, who doesn't have a few skeletons around in this industry? Don't you have them too? Miss Ning. Ning Xi purposely emphasized the surname Ning, then pretended to have suddenly realized something. Ah! Speaking of which, doesn't Jia Qingqing's mistress masquerading as fake rich heiress title suit you a lot? When the time comes for me to expose you, aren't you saving me the trouble of thinking up a headline? It was as if Ning Swaluo's weak point had been stabbed. She immediately said in rage, "What mistress masquerading as fake rich heiress? I've been in the Ning family since birth and I'm the only daughter that father acknowledges. As for Su Yan, you failed to prevent his heart from wavering, do you think anyone will believe your nonsense?" Ning Xi dragged out her words, "Then, shall we try it out? Why don't I reveal my skeletons as well? There are so many people out there, the whereabouts of the two men you bribed are still unknown. Maybe I'll have better luck searching for them publicly." Chapter 105, Shopping for Little Bun. This time, Ning Swaluo's expression had completely changed. She was close to screaming, "Ning Xi, you mad woman!" She wasn't afraid of Ning Xi trying to compete for her position and her man, but she was afraid that Ning Xi would reveal everything in a desperate bid to drag her down. Hehe, seeing that Ning Swaluo's face had turned pale from fright, Ning Xi couldn't resist chuckling. With a relaxed expression, she patted her shoulder, "Miss Ning, don't worry, I'm just joking. It's not worth the sacrifice to take down trash like you." Speaking up to here, Ning Xi's indifferent gaze turned extremely cold and she lowered her tone. As if she was a ghost that had crawled out of hell, she spoke by Ning Swaluo's ear, "However, if you ever use that incident to threaten me again, I can't guarantee what I'll do if I lose control. If you try to use that pig of a teammate, even if I die, I'll drag you down with me. Jia Qingqing is a pushover who only looks strong, but I'm not the same as her." Having said so, Ning Xi let go of Ning Swaluo's shoulder and left. Ning Swaluo had not managed to threaten her at all, and had even been threatened herself. Once Ning Xi had left, she immediately collapsed on the floor. With a dark expression, she kicked the door heavily. Damn it! She had to think of a way to get rid of Ning Xi. As long as Ning Xi lived, everything that she had could disappear in a second. She absolutely could not let that happen. After leaving the company, seeing that she had nothing else to do for the afternoon, Ning Xi prepared to go to the mall. She had promised that she would help Little Treasure buy some clothes. Upon thinking of Little Treasure, the dark clouds in her mind instantly dissipated and she happily went shopping. Ning Xi headed straight for the children's section upon arriving. There were all sorts of kids' clothing around. All pumped up, Ning Xi buried her head into shopping. She was even more crazy than when she shopped for herself. Since she had met Little Treasure, her way of living had turned a complete 180. She used to make detours around any shops that sold children's products or clothes. However, it wasn't those suffocating memories she thought about when she saw those now. Instead, she thought of the cute little bun. The feeling of wanting to buy something cute and fun back for him, it was practically like falling in love. This mall only carried branded products, so everything was rather expensive. It was the same for children's clothing, but since they were meant for Little Treasure, she was willing to spend the money. She just had to buy fewer cosmetic products to save the money back up. Pub Future Ads. Pub Future Ads. Today, Ning Xi was wearing a dress from a designer that she liked, but wasn't very famous. Although it looked good, it didn't have a branded logo on it. The shop assistants would only serve those who looked rich, so they didn't bother with her. They followed eagerly behind another woman dressed in Chanel from head to toe instead. Ning Xi happily shopped here and there. Finally, she spotted an outfit that piqued her interest in the corner. It was a little sapphire blue suit. Not only was the color extremely eye-catching, the pocket square even carried a little Superman logo. Most importantly, she had lots of clothes with Superman motifs. She could wear matching mother-child outfits with Little Treasure at any time. The words mother-child outfits made Ning Xi's heart thump. She realized with a start that while this felt like she was in love, where she would want to give the best to her lover, it also felt like how she would treat her own child. With a complicated expression on her face, Ning Xi sunk into silence for a while before finally recovering her senses. She approached a shop assistant. "Miss, I want this outfit, could you help me pack it up?" The shop assistant didn't reply immediately, but reminded her coldly, "This costs 12,000 yuan. I know, I saw the tag. Help me pack it up." The shop assistant's expression warmed up a little and she even smiled, saying gently, "Do you need it to be wrapped as a present?" Before Ning Xi could reply, a hand with a jade bracelet suddenly came from the side and snatched away the outfit. "Oh, this outfit looks good. I'm taking this." Chapter 106, Meeting Some Bitches. Excuse me, the lady over here has already picked this outfit." The shop assistant reminded apologetically. The woman who had snatched the outfit was the lady dressed in Chanel. Hearing so, she raised her chin unhappily. "Then has she paid for it?" "This, she has yet to do so. It doesn't belong to anyone before it's paid for." "I want this, ring it up for me right now." The lady in Chanel ordered as if it was a matter of course. Just as she had finished speaking, her hands were suddenly empty as the clothes flew back into Ning Xi's hands. The lady in Chanel was immediately in a rage. "Why are you snatching my clothes?" Ning Xi's tone was even more matter of course. "Didn't you say that it doesn't belong to anyone before it's paid for? You can snatch it away, but others can't." "You," the lady in Chanel was about to throw a hissy fit, but she suddenly stared at Ning Xi's face in bewilderment. "Ning Xi, are you Ning Xi?" As if she had found something funny, the lady in Chanel pulled her companion over. Xian, look who it is. It's that bumpkin from the Ning family. She's actually snatching clothes from me at a place like this." "Ning Xi? How can it be?" Her companion looked at the woman before her with surprise. Her black hair fell in loose waves down her back, her makeup was perfectly done, and although the light purple sleeveless dress wasn't branded, it fit her personality well. Her whole person carried an elegant and noble air. There wasn't a single trace left of the weak country bumpkin from back then. "It is her. I would never forget her face. Once a country bumpkin, always a country bumpkin. She only changed her appearance a little, but she still looks shoddy as always," the lady in Chanel said confidently. Her companion sized up the woman and found that it was indeed Ning Xi. Actually, Ning Xi's looks weren't too bad, even back then. She just didn't know how to dress herself and always looked rustic. The clothes she had been wearing at the banquet had been a size bigger, with a color that was out of style. It was even a counterfeit dress, so it left a deep impression. What's she doing buying children's clothes? I didn't hear of her marrying anyone. Who know if it's some random man's bastard? Maybe she got pregnant before marriage. Back then, didn't Suyan dump her because she cheated on him with some other guy? It was only after those two women had been talking back and forth for a long while that Ning Xi finally recalled who they were. The lady in Chanel was Ying Fanglin and her companion was Jin Xian. They were famous socialites in upper society and part of Ning Xueluo's group of close friends. These two were also the ones who had mocked and teased her the most back then. She had later heard that Fanglin had married well and given birth to a son for her husband in the first year. Thus, she had become even more arrogant in her actions. Jin Xian also had a fiancé with a good family background. Pub future ads. She hadn't thought that she would meet these bitches in the children's clothing department. It seemed like they still didn't know that she had entered the entertainment industry. Ning Xi didn't want to fight with these guys in public, so she just ignored them and spoke to the shop assistant. "Miss, please help me ring these up." Although the other two ladies seemed like the wrong people to offend, since Ning Xi had picked the outfit first, the shop assistant quickly helped her to ring up the items and swipe her card. However, a problem arose when it came to swiping her card. The shop assistant's expression turned a little ugly. "I'm sorry, miss, you don't have enough balance left on your card." Ah! Ning Xi was struck dumb. It was only then that Ning Xi remembered, she had just changed the engine on her beloved bike to an imported one just last month, so there wasn't much money left on her card. Seeing the situation, Ying Fanglin immediately jeered without restraint, "Ha ha ha, this is hilarious. You tried to show off when you don't have any money, you're just making a fool of yourself." Jin Xian shrugged in disdain, "I thought she might have improved a little after studying overseas for these few years. Well, I guess a crow will always be a crow, she'll never become a swan." Puffed up with self-importance, Ying Fanglin looked towards the shop assistant, "Miss, you can finally give me the clothes now, right?" "Yes, madam." As the shop assistant said so, she tried to take the clothes in Ning Xi's hands. Ning Xi held on and refused to let go. Ying Fanglin immediately cried out, "What are you doing? You don't have any money and you're still trying to snatch it from me? Did you think that you're still in your village?" Ning Xi held onto the clothes with one hand and used her free hand to take out a black card from her bag, handing it over to the shop assistant, "Use this one." Chapter 107, Men in Love. Ning Xi had been prepared to pay herself at first, since she was going to treat it as a present for the little bun. She hadn't expected that such an embarrassing situation would happen. She liked the outfit too much. The thought of something that should belong to the little bun going to someone like Ying Fanglin made her feel extremely uncomfortable. Finally, she had still taken out the black card that Lu Tingxiao had given her to settle the bill. Once Ning Xi had taken out the card, it was the shop assistant and the two ladies' turn to stare blankly. The shop assistant was rather experienced and knowledgeable, so she recognized the card with one glance. Ying Fanglin and Jin Xian had never seen the real thing, but socialites were naturally more aware of things like this. They could also recognize that it was the real king of cards, the limitless black card that only existed in limited numbers in the entire world. The threshold for this card was extremely high, and the annual fees were shocking. The service you could get with this card was first-rate all over the world. As it hadn't been publicly announced, you couldn't take the initiative to apply for it. Only 1% of platinum card holders were chosen and invited to apply for the card, so even if you had money, you wouldn't necessarily be able to get it. The only ones who could get that card were either important political leaders, multimillionaires or famous people in society. Ying Fanglin's face was stiff. She harumphed, "It couldn't be a fake card, could it? Miss, you had better check it properly." Although the shop assistant had seen it before, she had only ever seen it once. She received the card cautiously and started to operate the credit card machine. 10 seconds later, the shop assistant immediately had a 1000 megawatt smile on her face as she bowed at 90 degrees, "Miss, it's done. I'll help you wrap it up." Ning Xi nodded, "Thanks." Ying Fanglin and Jin Xian were rooted to the spot in a daze. They looked at each other, then looked at Ning Xi as if they had seen a ghost. Ning Xi grabbed the bag and prepared to leave. While watching Ning Xi's leaving back, Ying Fanglin gritted her teeth and said with a malicious expression, "Why is she acting so proud? She must surely be some rich old man's mistress. Does she think she can marry into money just by giving him a son? That's right, she'll surely be bullied by the legal wife someday." Jin Xian chimed in. After leaving the children's clothing section, Ning Xi passed by the menswear section while heading downstairs. Oh, it looked like the brand that Lu Tingxiao usually wore was right in front of her. The style suited Lu Tingxiao as a whole. With black, white and grey as the main colors, it looked haughty yet restrained. After looking at it for a moment, her gaze shifted to a new brand that had become trendy in the recent years. Comparing the two brands, the newer brand had more vibrant colors and the clothes were designed with more younger styles. Pub Future ads. Pub Future ads. Ning Xi rubbed her chin. Suddenly thinking of buying an outfit for Lu Tingxiao as well. She was a woman after all. A woman was a creature who could plan to buy just a pair of shoes at first, but would eventually end up buying clothes, bags, accessories to match with those shoes. After buying something for the little bun, she couldn't resist the urge to help Lu Tingxiao change up his style a little. After hesitating for 3 minutes, Ning Xi made the decision, she was going to buy it. Thus, she walked into the shop and just bought the suit on the mannequin that was the exact same sapphire blue as the one she had bought for Little Treasure. At the same time, in the office of the Lu Corporation CEO, Lu Tingxiao was listening to Lu Jingli's report when his phone rang with 2 notifications. When he opened it up, it was a message from the bank informing him of expenses made on his card. Ning Xi had used his card? A satisfied smile surfaced on Lu Tingxiao's solemn and indifferent face. Lu Jingli said confidently after seeing his dear brother's expression, "Is it a message from sister-in-law?" Lu Tingxiao, "It's not. It's not. That was weird." Lu Jingli immediately leaned over the table and moved closer to look. Weren't those just messages from the bank? They were even expense notifications, not income notifications. Did he need to have such a blissful expression on? Tisk tisk, men in love were seriously hard to understand sometimes. Chapter 108, Don't Put on Your Clothes. In the evening, Ning Xi brought her lute back to the Lu residence. Seeing the old butler watering the flowers by the entrance, Ning Xi hurriedly greeted him, "Grandpa Butler, where's darling Little Treasure?" The old butler was dressed in a swallow-tailed coat with a neat bow tie. Upon seeing Ning Xi, he said with a respectful expression, "Miss Xi, you've returned. Little young master is drawing in the garden." "Oh, he's drawing? Then I won't disturb him for now. Where's Mr. Lu then?" "Eldest young master is upstairs." "All right, thanks." Ning Xi happily headed upstairs. The old butler looked at the girl's lively figure with a complicated heart. In the time they had spent together, no matter how guarded he had been, he couldn't resist having a favorable impression of this young lady. She was beautiful and had a sweet tongue. It was easy for her to get into everyone's good graces. What was hard to come by was her understanding of proper behavior. She had never shown any attempts to step over the lines with eldest young master. Actually, she didn't really care much about her image at most times. It was easy to tell when a woman had intentions towards a man. They might be able to hide it for a day or two, but with enough time, it would eventually be revealed. Similarly, it was easy to tell when a man had intentions towards a woman. Others might not know it, but he had seen everything from start to finish, so he was clear about it. Eldest young master had clearly taken a liking to this lady. The guest room she was staying had been personally designed by eldest young master. Even the bed sheets, curtains, and the closet full of clothes and accessories had all been personally picked by him. Not only that, on the first day she had arrived, he had already passed the list of her preferred foods to the kitchen. Every time she returned late, they had to leave some food for her. There were countless other details that he couldn't even finish mentioning. Even if she was little young master's savior, eldest young master's meticulous actions were a little too much. As long as the little lady came from a good family and could get along with eldest young master, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. Ever since the lady had moved in, eldest young master had become more lively, and even little young master was becoming more cheerful. Since he had watched eldest young master and little young master grow up, he was naturally happy about these developments. Right now, he wasn't worrying about Ning Xi harboring bad intentions, he was actually more worried that Ning Xi didn't harbor any intentions at all. Pub Future Ads. After heading upstairs, Ning Xi was impatient to share her spoils of war, so she directly opened the door to Lu Tingxiao's bedroom. Mr. The moment she opened the door, her vision was filled with bared skin. Lu Tingxiao's hair was wet and he wasn't wearing anything on the upper half of his body. A white towel was wrapped around his waist, and water droplets slowly traveled down his tight abs, dripping down. This scene was hard to turn your eyes away from, so Ning Xi's first reaction wasn't to close her eyes, but to widen them. Although she had some trauma towards men, it didn't mean she couldn't appreciate beauty. It was most likely because she had suffered a huge shock after getting betrayed back then. She didn't know when she had started turning bent. 5 years ago, she had been so conservative that she would blush upon seeing a man in a tank top and underwear. She didn't talk much with other men apart from Su Yan, and didn't even bat an eye no matter how handsome the man was. A whole 5 seconds passed before Ning Xi regained her senses. She turned around with a whoosh and covered her eyes with her hands full of paper bags. Sorry, I forgot to knock. Lu Tingxiao chuckled lowly, his voice somewhat hoarse. It's my bad, I forgot to lock the door. Actually he hadn't forgotten to lock it, but ever since she had moved in, he had never locked his door again. Were you looking for me? Wait a moment, I'll put on some clothes. That short yet long look from the girl had lighted up his skin inch by inch. Luckily she had turned around in time, or his facade might have cracked thanks to the reaction he couldn't control from a certain part of his body. Lu Tingxiao was about to open the closet to get some clothes when Ning Xi shouted from behind him, "Ah, no! Don't put on your clothes!" Chapter 109, Don't Bring Men Back Home. He hadn't expected that she would make such a request. Lu Tingxiao's expression clearly turned blank for a moment before he stared at the girl's back. His tone was slightly higher than usual. Why? Although he was pretty happy to fulfill this kind of request from this little girl. Realizing that there were too many ways to interpret her words, Ning Xi hurriedly corrected, "Please don't misunderstand. I meant exactly what I said, there's no other meaning to it." Actually that seems quite lewd as well. Ahem, basically what I meant was, I bought an outfit for you while shopping today, would you like to try it on? If you try it on now, you don't have to take off your clothes again to try it on. Aren't I smart? Lu Tingxiao looked slightly startled upon hearing so, and he looked overwhelmed by the unexpected favor. You bought something for me. He had thought that she had bought the outfits for Little Treasure. Yes. However, ahem. I used your card. Ning Xi rubbed her nose awkwardly. Actually I was prepared to use my own money at first, since it's a present for Little Treasure. I forgot that I bought a new engine for my bike last month, so there's no more money left on my card. I could only use your card. Anyway, when I was passing by another shop, I saw another men's outfit that looked extremely matching with the one I bought for Little Treasure, so I couldn't help but buy it. So it was like that. Although she hadn't bought it specially for him, it was enough to make him happy. I asked the shop assistant, you can return it if you don't like it. Quickly try it on and see if you like it. Ning Xi urged him. Lu Tingxiao said without hesitation, I like it. She had bought it personally and it was the first time she had bought clothes for him. How could he not like it? You haven't seen how it looks yet. Ning Xi mumbled and moved a step backwards, reaching behind her back to pass one of the bags in her hands to him. Lu Tingxiao received the bag. You only bought clothes for Little Treasure and me? Did you not anything for yourself at all? Ning Xi sighed, I'm broke, so I'm going to wait till I get my salary before I go shopping again. Lu Tingxiao was about to say that she could just use his card, when Ning Xi took out said black card from her bag. Oh right, I'll return this to you. It felt pretty cool when I used it. I was almost angered to death by a bitch who wanted to snatch clothes from me today. Pub future ads. Lu Tingxiao could only sigh lightly and say, keep it first. I'm usually busy and I don't have the time to shop for Little Treasure. If you see anything appropriate, just buy it. Of course, I'd be delighted if you helped me pick something as well. You're placing so much trust in my fashion sense? As long as you don't change your mind after you try on the outfit later. Ning Xi didn't bother standing on ceremony with him and just kept the card again, then I'll return it to you when I leave. Change quickly, I'm going out first. She was about to take a step when her empty hand was grabbed by the man from behind. Ning Xi jumped in surprise. She subconsciously wanted to turn around, but after remembering that Lu Tingxiao was only wearing a towel, she could only maintain that awkward position of having her hand pulled from behind. What's wrong? Lu Tingxiao tightened his hold on her slender wrist. Ning Xi, little treasure has been getting better recently. He's no longer clinging to you and he has become much more obedient than before. He won't bother you and he won't disturb your work. He only wants to see you every day, wait for you to return home. He's really happy knowing that you're sleeping right next door. I know that I don't have any more reasons to keep you, but as a father, I can't do much for little treasure. I really hope that little treasure can stay this happy for a while longer. 3 months. Just stay 3 more months, please. When the time comes for you to go, I absolutely won't pressure you to stay anymore. Within that period, you can treat this place like your own home. Do as you like, you don't have to be apprehensive. It's fine if you curse when you're angry, if you eat durians or garlic, you can also drink at bars until late. I only have a small request. Within these 3 months, could you exercise a little restraint? Just don't bring men back, okay? At the start, Ning Xi had been so touched she had almost cried. However, at the end, she almost puked up 3 liters of blood. Why did it end up sounding like Liu Tingxiao was the gentle, loving, and obedient wife, while she was the scummy husband immersing herself in debauchery? Ning Xi scowled miserably. Liu Tingxiao, are you sure you want to continue talking to me in this state? Can we talk after you put on some clothes? Otherwise it would be really difficult for her to focus, really. Sure. Liu Tingxiao's voice sounded from behind her. Like a pardoned convict, Ning Xi hurriedly dashed out of the room. Liu Tingxiao was a natural-born speaker. Just a few sentences was enough to poke her in her soft spots, especially those words concerning little treasure. However, if she continued staying on like that, and for 3 months at that, she really felt that it wouldn't be appropriate. As she was conflicted over this matter, something soft landed on her legs. Lowering her head, she saw that little treasure had run over at some point and hugged her leg as usual. He was even holding a drawing in his hands. Ning Xi squatted down to hug the little fellow. Darling, did you finish your drawing? Little treasure nodded. What did you draw? Can auntie look at it? Little treasure immediately passed the drawing to her. The moment she saw it, her eyes teared up. As usual, she was the subject of the drawing. The colors used in the painting were vibrant and dreamlike. She was lying on a small bed, holding a storybook in hand. However, little treasure had drawn it from his perspective, when he was lying by her side and watching her from below. In the entire drawing, you could feel the happiness and contentment little treasure felt every time he stuck to her side, raising his head and listening to her telling him a story. Darling, you drew so well. The balance in Ning Xi's heart had been completely skewed to one side. She had to take a deep breath before she could recover her composure. She kissed the little fellow's forehead, then said happily, Auntie bought some new clothes for you, do you want to try them? Little Treasure's eyes lit up and he nodded. When Ning Xi had finished helping Little Treasure change his clothes and was preparing to look for Liu Tingxiao, Liu Tingxiao walked out of his room in the new outfit. Pub Future Ads. Ning Xi had been pretty confident when buying the outfit for Little Treasure, but she wasn't as sure about buying the outfit for Liu Tingxiao, since she had never seen him wearing any colors other than black, white or grey. Furthermore, sapphire blue was pretty eye-catching. However, upon seeing Liu Tingxiao, Ning Xi stared blankly. Wasn't this too fitting? She had thought that it might not fit well at first, or that the style wouldn't look good on him. She hadn't expected that it would work so well on his body. It completely showed off his wide shoulders, narrow hips, and long legs. Most importantly, his usual solemn and heavy air had instantly become lighter and brighter. His whole person looked younger. Liu Tingxiao was pleased by the completely undisguised stunned look in the girl's eyes. How is it? Ning Xi nodded fervently, you look too cool. It feels like all you need is a bright red flower at your breast pocket and you'll be all ready for marriage. Liu Tingxiao, this girl's way of complimenting people was rather unique. Little Treasure, don't you think so? Is daddy cool or not? Ning Xi looked down to ask the little bun, who looked like the mini version of Lu Tingxiao. Although little treasure didn't like his dad too much, he couldn't help but admit that his dad looked much better like this compared to his usual black outfits. Thus, he nodded. Ning Xi immediately gave a thumbs up. I didn't think that my fashion sense was that good. Of course, CEO Lu, you look good in anything. However, I think you should wear these kinds of bright colors more often. The employees will feel better when they see you, and they'll be more efficient at work. Hearing that you look good in anything, Lu Tingxiao couldn't help but curl his lips in a smile. Sure, as long as you see something suitable, buy it for me.